Welcome, everybody, to episode 190 of Perpetual Backlog. And yes, it is actually episode 190 this time, and not the last time we were together because, everything died, and I was afraid for my computer due to the Monster Hunter Wilds beta. But I am one of your hosts, Aqua, and joining me, like always, is Dalit.
Hey, good to be here. Hopefully, no computers will be harmed in the making of this episode.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
jinx it. What have you done?
I
What the fuck are you done?
And not sick this time, Leak.
Yeah, currently I'm still a wee bit. I'm recovering, but I can talk. Hooray!
They have the ability.
I have the ability.
They live.
So yeah, so we haven't had an episode in like 3 weeks. Half because Leak has been sick, other half because my computer like almost died playing Monster Hunter Wilds, and the other half is because we just didn't feel like doing an episode last week. But what we
It's a
did
lot
do
of
last
halves,
week,
I feel like.
yeah.
Like
What we did do
normal
last
over here.
week is I know Dala and I played a little bit of The First Descendant because I forced him into doing it.
It's true. I literally 3 days before he came to me saying I'm in a shooter mood, I had removed it from my computer because after putting in my requisite 300 hours, I was finished. Apparently,
And
I was wrong.
it was my turn to put in. I think I've only put in like 40 hours. 34 hours actually. So, beat the story. Story is not amazing. It's very.
Sure isn't.
It's a story, all right, I guess. I still think the gameplay of this game is pretty good.
Agreed. Agreed. Conceptually.
I have the goal of getting Ultimate Bunny, but that
Ultimate
goal
bunny.
Ultimate Bunny. Yeah, it's a version of Bunny in the game. There's
Wow, Aqua, why does your mom let you have two bunnies?
oh yeah. Dollar, you're going for Ultimate Freyna, all right? Let me right here.
I
Why does your
absolutely
mom
am.
allow you to
Once
have
I,
two Freynas?
because I want to be double down with the sickness.
Yeah, true. For those that don't
Thank you.
know how First Descendant works, is it's kind of like Warframe. Uh,
Yes,
the Descendants are frames on a technicality, if you want to compare
it
it to
is.
that.
No, it is an objective and unabashed ripoff of Warframe, just with hot supermodel girls instead of
Yeah,
don't know how to feel about that space
booty.
suits.
Space booty.
Oh, and that
uh,
exists.
yeah, space booty does exist. Um, so Ultimate Bunny is a version of Bunny, not unlike the Prime versions of Warframes in Warframe.
Correct.
So, they have better stats. I guess their base version is they're golden. So, but I would still throw a costume on it because I don't really care about the golden thing. Anyway, it's mainly about the stats, and I guess the uh status symbol of having an ultimate champion, I guess, or descendant. But you can get these things two ways. One of those ways is dropping down $100 and buying it.
Oh, true though.
Or two, going through like at least 6 to 10 hours of grinding for materials to create said character. So yeah, I've been doing that. Not easy. I have
Yeah, you do lose the
figured.
will to live at points.
Yeah. I can do that one strategic outpost by myself. It takes a little longer just because I don't have all the damage in the world or whatever. And if I die like once or twice, that's fine because like you get like 5 or 6 tries on the mission, and then it doesn't reset their health, at least in the strategic outpost,
Mm.
right? Because I can infiltrate that thing consistently and get the at least 25% chance of getting that one material to drop. The unfortunate thing is that to reconstruct that material dollet, I have to fight this. I have to fight that one of those reactor things or reactor like bosses or mini bosses or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
And
those are
that
really rough
motherfucker
solo.
hurts. That motherfucker
Yeah.
hurts.
You'll
So
find that it comes down to one of two things: that they, depending where you are in your build, you may have trouble surviving, and when
mhm.
survival is no longer an issue, you may not have enough bullets. You might
Oh,
just
I have
run
enough
out.
bullets. I do enough damage. Thunder Cage,
Okay.
pretty good damage. Even
Thunder
at
Cage
even
is
at
a
only.
very solid first gun to like completely max out. I think it's almost always useful with very few exceptions. I think all of them are based around the Colossi.
Mm-hmm.
So I also have one maxed out. I also did the exact same thing.
Yeah. I have enough damage. It's just I can't take more than like 2 hits from the boss. So or
Cover is your
from that
friend
thing.
if you have that,
Uh,
ability.
it no. Oh, like there is like some sort of cover or whatever, but it does like a wide shotgun attack.
Mm-hmm.
That does like if I get hit by one of it, it does like all my shield and some of my HP. So
Yeah, that's rough.
it's like almost not possible. At least at the moment with my character to do it by myself. I'd have to have like somebody else there. um, but yeah, uh, I did farm the Thunder Cage parts today, so I have enough to make enough to get my Thunder Cage to max. I just now have to go in, hit the make button, and then wait 4 hours. But
Mm-hmm.
Now we play the waiting game.
yeah. So there's that. Um, I mean, video game wise, it's like the same as last time. I picked up Mass Effect because you said Mass Effect last or the other night, and I was like, sure, I could play Mass Effect. So I'm playing
Yes,
Mass
this
Effect
was in
2.
fact actually my fault this time.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I can play Mass Effect. I enjoy Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 1 is a shit game. And Mass Effect 3 is a great game. You know what you get to do, Dala, in Mass Effect 3 when we get to Mass Effect 3? We can play the
Just as
online.
disappointed. What? There's online for
There's a
Mass.
horde mode. There's a horde mode.
Oh, what do you
Wait,
do
so
in
is
it?
it
Well,
gonna be
besides
like?
holding, you just what?
Well, yeah. Is this gonna be like Gears of
Yeah,
War?
it's like Gears of War, except for
Uh,
setting up traps. You don't set up
oh,
traps. You just have to survive hordes of like depending on what map you're on and what's spawning.
so it's just waves and waves.
Yeah, it's just waves and waves, and it's pretty
Okay.
difficult.
I gotta
Um,
tell you, if there was a company that I would have expected to be uninterested in doing anything um like this, BioWare, circa the early 2000s, early and mid 2000s. I genuinely would have expected them to say, we don't do that. We're not going to bother.
I put
Is the
hours
game good
and
enough? Okay,
hours.
so it
Yes,
is.
I've put
Okay.
hours into doing this online when the game came out. It is so you being friends with some Mass Effect friends or whatever, and I guess whatever that one friend you have that has incorrect opinions, uh,
Don't talk about my friends like that. They're idiots, but they're my idiots.
um, the main thing,
No, but you're right.
you should be hearing about Mass Effect is don't ever play one. All right, one is
Definitely
the
didn't hear
worst.
that.
One is the worst game. All right, it is
Okay, I did hear
insane.
that, but there was a lot of cope with it, apparently.
uh, it is. Its gameplay is uninspiring. Its story is also as much uninspiring as its gameplay. Um, and there's only one thing you need to know from that game, and it's just the main story, and you literally get that in a comic book in the second game when you start the second game. All right.
Mm.
Mass Effect 2 is almost a perfect game. There is almost nothing wrong with Mass Effect 2. All right.
Bold
Out
claim. Wow.
it is. It starts off perfect, it ends perfect. The only issue I ever have with that game is that probe system, and now there's a mod to remove that. To remove like actually like engaging with it. All right. And so that's all I have to, and there's also a mod that allows you to date Tally as a female, so that's even more a plus in my book. All right.
All right.
So
I will admit, for all of your usual questionable takes, despite not having played this game, I have an immense soft spot for Tally.
yeah.
So I am looking forward to actually finding out if I genuinely will like her. Ran into Liara. Wow, did I immediately not care about that character after running into her? Which disappointed me because that is Ellie Hillis.
uh Mass Effect 1 Liara is a bit of milk toast.
I'd certainly say so, yeah.
Mass Effect 2 Liara is a bit better.
I
Because
should hope so,
she's
given that Shadow Broker nonsense I keep hearing about.
yeah, the whole Shadow Broker storyline is really good. Um Mass Effect 1 is just man, I I was saying this earlier. If you hear anything about Mass Effect, any good that they're saying is excluding like they're not even talking about Mass Effect 1. All right? Mass Effect 1 is not even on the table. All right? That's how bad Mass Effect 1 is.
Okay, really quick. I'm
Oh.
going to start defending my friends really quick because it needs to be said. So all of this comes from the fact that I did just start playing Mass Effect. I am obviously very aware of the things that happen in Mass Effect. If you've been around gaming for any amount of time, it's all been spoiled.
Yeah.
I've bounced off the series 3 times now. I played Mass Effect when it came out. I did not well, I didn't play Mass Effect is what ended up happening. Really didn't like that at all. I tried 2 when it came out. I did the whole little comic strip, and then I went through for about 10 to 20 hours? Maybe
Mhm.
not even 20, maybe like 10 to 15-ish, which
Mhm.
it's an RPG, so that doesn't really account for much. And I just gave up on the game. So I just started watching stuff after that. But I've recently gotten through Metaphor and Veilguard. So it's like I'm on an RPG kick. I usually burn out by now. You know what? I might as well go all in. So I finally decided to give a try to Mass Effect on one of my friend's recommendations. And he was like, look, play Mass Effect 1. It's not as bad as everyone says. It's not the best game in the world. And if you don't like it, you can just dip. You can just go play Mass Effect 2 and have everything covered in the beginning. But
Yeah.
I think you definitely should play Mass Effect 1. I think it's worth doing. I think it's worth knowing the story, this, that, and the other. He did make all of these statements with heavy bias, like big old.
Mhm.
He's a guy who has like an N7 jacket and everything.
Oh god.
Like he likes Mass Effect.
Loads up the game
I don't
on
think.
November 7th.
Yes, as a matter of fact. As a matter of fact, you are correct. But I mean, like, what's the worst that happens? I get the however long I've been playing now, and I dip. So I
Yeah.
just want to defend him. Even he doesn't think that Mass Effect 1 is the best. He just recommended that I give it a go anyway.
I I just wouldn't have recommended giving it a go.
And I'm gonna be honest, it kills me because like I definitely have to side with Aqua. As someone who's not terribly big into Mass Effect to begin with, I think it's great. I like the story and I like the characters in the bits and pieces that I've received of them. I've always thought it was okay.
Mhm.
And this, oh, playing through Mass Effect 1, Mass Effect 1 is not okay. I it came out around the same time as Dragon Age Origins, so I figured it'll probably be about that good. It's really not.
Nope.
Please continue. I just felt the need to step in and
Yeah.
defend poorly
Anyway,
granted
Matt
my friend.
Mass Effect 2 is a perfect game. All right. It's got some of the best DLC in it. All right. It ends perfectly. All right. The final mission is like one of the greatest missions ever.
Man, that's Halo exists, my guy.
It's the premise of what the mission is. It's a suicide mission.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that seems not great.
It's and you need to make correct decisions on this mission, by the way.
Yeah,
Because
this goes back to like the BioWare formula that I'm aware of.
yeah, because if you don't make these correct decisions, there can be some people that die on this mission, and they will not be in Mass Effect 3. Because when you do start Mass Effect 3, you definitely want to carry over your Mass Effect 2 file.
Mm-hmm.
Mass Effect 3, best gameplay out of the entire series. All right, that's why playing the horde mode is so good. The entire game is just insanely good. All right. Now BioWare fucks it up in like the last 15 minutes of the game.
So crazy that it's this big a deal. Oh, how do you fumble literally at the finish line? That's crazy. It's like literally the only thing I ever heard about Mass Effect 3. Like, I know it was a good game because people played it all the way to the end, but all you ever heard was that is the wackest ending.
Mm.
It's like, oh no, that's the end of the trilogy. That's bad.
I think so another thing for Mass Effect 2, I think Mass Effect 2 has the Arrival DLC. Yeah.
I don't know the DLCs individually. I probably know what happens, but I don't actually know which one's which.
It's called Arrival, and it's the prologue of Mass Effect 3. All right.
Oh yeah, we were someone was talking about this. I think it was you.
Yeah, it's what starts off Mass Effect 3 pretty much. That's also insane. Like it's insanely good. You can like literally after you beat Mass Effect 2, you do Arrival, and then you just start playing Mass Effect 3. It flows like so well. It's just like literally the final choice of the video game. The final choice of the video game.
You hate to hear it.
It does not matter what you pick, and it's so infuriating. But everything before that is absolutely amazing. So, anyway, that's the Mass Effect tirade or whatever. I actually really love this game series. It's just incredibly flawed, like most BioWare games are. Unless you're talking about Knights of the Old Republic. That is actually a perfect game. That is actually a perfect game.
Shame about the state of its current remake, but
yeah,
we can.
That game will not be a perfect game because it just won't. It just cannot be.
I'm telling you. So I know this is seemingly a very unpopular opinion, and I thought it would be popular, but just remake it 1-to-1. I just want to play it.
Too.
I just want to play it. I want to play it, and I want it to look shiny and new, and maybe change the control scheme to make it somewhat modern.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, playing through Mass Effect 1 has screwed me up on mouse and keyboard because I do not want to sprint with space, and I do not want to change my ally stuff with.
You're playing on mouse and keyboard?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yes.
Ew. Why?
What do you mean, ew?
Why?
It is both an RPG and
it is a
shooter.
console game. It is a console game. This game was made for a controller.
I have not had issues playing on the mouse and keyboard, but let me tell you, hearing that makes a lot of sense to this keyboard layout. A lot of sense.
This game was made for. It was literally a console game. It is made with controller in mind.
No, I don't like that. Like, I don't like this whole PCs get no love anymore. I don't like this.
Well, I mean, this is a 2007 video game, man.
As such, I would expect the PC port to be somewhat solid for a RPG that is also a shooter.
EA was just like, nah, throw that on PC. Don't do anything to it. Up the
Ugh.
graphics. That's it, and put all the DLC with it, except for Pinnacle. You don't get Pinnacle
I'll say
Station.
this. Actually, before I say this, are you finished? Because I'll pick
Oh
up.
yeah, you're good. I don't have to. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
finished.
yeah, I'll just continue on from Aqua because essentially, yes, I played the first Descendant with Aqua. We got to the end; it was very nice.
Mhm.
And then I mentioned this earlier. I've gone on an odyssey of RPGs. I have played and completed Metaphor Refantatio, which is so good. It's so good. I can't say anything about this. You should definitely be playing this game this year. I am pretty confident this is going to beat Final Fantasy VII for Game of the Year in multiple areas. But also, I've said this out loud now, and every time I say something out loud, I end up being wrong in the long run. So, think of that what you will.
Hey man,
I thought it was
you might just win
beautiful.
off of recency bias.
And if any amount of recency bias comes into play, Final Fantasy VII doesn't have a chance
Mm-hmm.
because this game is good enough on its own, and it literally just dropped like a month before noms are up for a couple of different organizations.
Yep.
But yeah, no, the game looks beautiful as you expect. It plays wonderfully. It is a continuation of the Persona ideas, not the Persona themes. Obviously, Persona still exists, but it is a Persona game, medieval-ish, and just continuing to be excellent. I love it to pieces. Easily my game of the year. Um, and
Wow.
I look forward to the enhanced version or a sequel, however Atlas is choosing to do that.
Hmm.
I will be very pleased with this. Now, I then decided to follow up my favorite game of the year
With
with
your
one of
least
my
favorite game of
favorite.
the year.
I don't know about that, but I have issues with one of my favorite series. I played Dragon Age Veilguard. I have concerns. I will say this. I think by the end of my game time, this is a very competent game. This game is very well optimized, and a lot of the ideas at play here aren't terrible. I think this game's biggest weakness is being a Dragon Age game. Like by slapping that on the tin, it did a lot of harm because this game does not reach a lot of the areas that I think a lot of like long-term Dragon Age fans want. Um, if you started with Inquisition, I think there's a lot less here to criticize. I think the move from Inquisition to Veilguard is actually a pretty reasonable one in terms of tone and focus. Obviously, the gameplay is going to be different. This is an action game now, and I guess it's always been an action RPG, but this is an action game, and it's not great.
Mm.
Everything feels really good, but I literally did the exact same thing for about 50 hours. I don't know if I just found the cheat code really early and what I built around was just correct, but yeah, it didn't matter who I brought with me. It didn't matter what enemy I was up against. I would send out a big old orb of ice that would slowly travel in front of me and everything would die. It was really sick the first 100 times, and then I realized this was all I was gonna be doing. So, moving on from that, because I have no other things to save that, the art style you can get used to. It is it does
Hmm.
feel Pixar-y. I don't I want
Sorry.
it to be nicer. It does feel Pixar-y, and there are times when I kinda was able to get around that and just forget about it. For all the hate that the visuals are gonna get, the settings are beautiful and the characters are pretty, and then the Kunari happen. What did they do? Um, following the Arishok with the Iron Bull was interesting because they did immediately make them less feral and more human. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And I think it really worked on Bull because Bull is one of the most charismatic characters I've ever seen outside of Varric. And then you get here and they're just humans with weird foreheads and horns. And you're like, oh, I feel like you did not understand what we wanted from this race. I feel like you took all of the wrong moves here. You made them smaller, you made them human, and you gave them weird, fucked up foreheads. Oh, swing and a miss. But other than that, visually, it is actually a very good looking game. All you have to do is get over the aesthetic. And if you're playing for 50 hours, at some point your brain will just tune it out. Characters are fine. Writing is in fact super sanded down. There are moments like the first hour I think is pretty great, and the last 3-4 hours are good. I don't love the ending as much as a lot of critics seem to have finally said. Okay, the ending here is pretty great. The ending here's fine. Like it's fine. Happens a little fast for me, but there are some real meaningful decisions to be made. I did in fact lose a party member because of it,
Bro.
so that's on me. Actually, technically, I lost 2 party members because of it, and I really liked that party member. I really liked that party member, and the other choice I could have made either would have saved him or killed my favorite party member, so
Hmm.
oh, man. So, yeah, you're making some real decisions at the end there. It's the middle of this game that kinda sucks. Um, it does I think Dragon Age has been moving away from dark fantasy for a long time. You had Origins, which is very obviously a dark fantasy, like the dark mirror of Lord of the Rings, where you have dragons, you have the Urukai in the Darkspawn. Hell, in your first couple of hours, one of the hero characters, Duncan, kills a man in front of you for trying to leave. It's wild. And that game's just decision, decision, decision. Two's also pretty fucking dark, though I know a lot of people didn't like it. I think with Inquisition and Veilguard, it's looked on a lot more fondly now. So that's nice. And then you get to Inquisition, which I think starts softening things. A lot of the big ideas are still there, thankfully. But we see a move away from the theming that we had before. And Veilguard very much does feel like set up for a future that is going to be designed to grasp a larger audience. And that feels not great for someone whose favorite game is Origins.
Yep.
Don't like that. Uh, so yeah, I mean, the first hour was great. I then had to play 30 hours before I felt pretty good again, before we got back to a lot of things. Obviously, or not obviously, honestly, when it started winning me back again was when I was essentially just in the Grey Warden section dealing with a god and a horde of darkspawn knocking on my door. That felt familiar and really good.
Hmm.
And then we kind of lost the plot again. But like there are a lot of dark themes here. It's just presented in a way that is soft and safe. So, depending what you expect from this series, you might have a better reception to it or not. I definitely understand why people like Skill Up and Mr. Matty Plays like really weren't feeling this. I think if they were to have gotten rid of like 30 hours of fat, this would have been fine. It would have been good opening, some filler, big choice number one that kind of fucks up a whole area, uh, recovery, and then the ending. If they had just like focus on that and really expanded on these 4 points, it would have been really good. But because this was at one point a multiplayer, presumably live servicey game, and you can feel that in all the shit you have to pick up, it really suffers for a lot of bloat. Not that RPGs in general don't. I should probably be less hard on this game for that. It's just another failing. What are you gonna do? At the end of the day, I made it all the way through. I at least didn't bounce off. and I didn't. It's not like I
Mhm.
forced my way through. After, like I said, after about 30ish hours, which I did force myself through, I then genuinely started enjoying it,
It takes 30 hours for the game to get good.
which is pretty much a way of saying don't play this game, right? Like
Yeah.
30 hours is a lot to ask. And especially it's really heartbreaking after the first hour being like dark and brooding and like go go go, you have to do this, the world's at stake, and just for it to absolutely shudder to a stop. Most of the characters are fine. I definitely gel with a few of them. The character that everyone hates is, admittedly, her writing isn't, or sorry, their writing isn't very good. Like they're real blunt about all of this. The character
Yeah.
writing is actually mostly fine. I think a lot of the stuff you may have seen in reviews are cherry picking the very beginning of their plot stuff, and it's that writing's curious, but after that you find out that they're just a big short person. Like they don't say much. They're very to the point. They're Kunari. What are you gonna do? Tasha's just she's not or they're not a talker. Um I don't see a lot of the hate. The scene with their mother and them going talking about it is not subtle. Like it's really heavy-handed, and I don't know anyone who speaks like this, but once you're past that sense of awkward, it's fine. The other character that people may have an issue with is Balara. She is a Marvel character. She speaks like one. It's rough. Um, I was originally going to compare her to Aquafina, but I don't think that's true. I think I just compare her to Aquafina because Aquafina is really she gets cast for one thing, it's always really annoying. But
Yeah.
even Balara gets better as the story goes on, and once you get to her character stuff, her later character stories, I really like Balara. The rest of the cast pretty much is great from the word go. I don't think you have any standout weird characters that like you'll never play as. I know I didn't make much use of Lucanus, but he's without a doubt going to be one of the most popular romance options. And Varric Harding and Nev, who are at the very beginning of the game. It's the characters that everyone saw from that gameplay trailer.
Hmm.
All excellent. They're great characters. I like them. I give this game like a 7. Maybe an 8 if you're an Inquisition fan, and like 6 if you're an Origins fan. But in general, it's like a 7, 7.5. It's a fine game. You'd forget about it in a year, though.
Wait, what game are you talking about? I forgot about it now.
I don't know. Veilguard's a complicated beast. The real issue with this is because it is BioWare, and BioWare has assumptions made about the quality of a game coming out nowadays that I mean might be somewhat valid after Andromeda and
Anthem.
what's the Iron Man simulator? Anthem.
Anthem, yeah.
So, I mean, we all know that the BioWare that made the original Mass Effect trilogy, the original two Dragon Age games, all of these, they've been gone for a while. I'm not even sure they have any member that was there during that time, still a member of the company. So, if you're expecting that, like, honestly, you need to tone it back
Mhm.
because that's just never what we're getting again. But if you were hoping for another Inquisition, I think we can get back to that. I'm just curious about all the 10 out of 10s this game was getting because
What don't you know? It was a
I
return to
don't know
form.
about
Hmm.
that. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that. I still think Inquisition's the better game.
No, I was saying it's a return to form because all the reviewers that said it was a return to form because they all had their
No, no, no.
reviews written by ChatGPT.
I oh god, I hope not. That I hope that's not a thing that's happening in the industry. I'd be very sad. Uh, yeah, no, that I think this is a step in the right direction. I definitely think it's better than like Andromeda. Despite I know I haven't played it, but like just going off what people have said, it animates better. It's spoken about more fondly by people who aren't journalists, so like people who don't have any skin in the game. I think they're working their way back with Veilguard. I don't think Veilguard is the game that has brought BioWare back into, yeah, it's time to get excited about their next game. So I really hope the next Mass Effect is that for them, because that's the next one coming out.
Yeah, well, they've somebody talked to like the guy that's running the next Mass
It's
Effect.
just on Twitter. Just Twitter
Yeah,
back and forth. I know the one you're talking about.
yeah. He said shouldn't really have anything to worry about.
Yeah, they're
That
going to keep
it'll,
the photorealistic aesthetic, and they want to keep the same um, theming, I guess. I don't
yeah.
know that I believe him on that, mostly because I don't think it's up to him. But I don't know. He is the lead of the project. I just figured if that was the way forward, Dragon Age would have continued on that path. But who's to say? Speaking of Mass Effect, as was mentioned earlier, I've been attempting to get my way through that. I like sci-fi. Um, I've had trouble in the past with Mass Effect though, and I can never put my finger on why. Mass Effect 1 has just been disappointing to me overall, though, and maybe that's the reason why. The writing's not as good as Dragon Age Origins, which was the game I would have played right before playing this one. And playing now, I definitely don't think it is, and it feels we have definitely come a ways in the right in terms of writing rooms. Um, the combat's actually fine. I don't know if that's a legendary edition upgrade. I don't know if they've like made that nicer to feel because I remember people
I think they
not being
did.
kind to that. Yeah.
They made the gameplay to be more in line with 2.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, I've heard people not have nice things to say about one's gameplay, but this it felt fine. Characters are a bit flat. Don't love that, but I know that changes because I genuinely do love some of the interactions and writing I've seen in 2 and 3. So nothing to worry about there. Though the aesthetic isn't much. But yeah, I do promise I like sci-fi games. I mean, like biggest disappointment to me is that I Destiny is the way it is because I like so much about that,
Mm-hmm.
and I fucking love Halo. I something about Mass Effect has never been able to capture me. So, one has been rough, and yeah, Aqua here has been talking me into just skipping it and going into 2, and I think I'm gonna have to take him up on it because 1 is just not winning me over.
It's just so much better. Like I said, like
Yeah,
if it wasn't for the fact that you get literally a graphic novel, like choose your choices like thing in the beginning of Mass Effect 2, then I'd be like, you probably should play Mass Effect 1 just to get the story. But no, that thing is a perfect retelling of Mass Effect 1. All right. And condensed down in a way that is like, I mean, you just don't have to play the game, and they give you all the important choices you have to make throughout Mass Effect 1 that you can make
which
for
is
your
good.
game, for your Mass Effect 2 character. So
Mhm. Alright, well, I look forward to starting that probably mañana. And I think that's really all I got up to. I mean, I did other smaller things, Blatro and such. It's still a great game. I still love that game piece. But other
yeah,
than that, I think that about wraps it up for me. Sorry
yeah.
for taking so much time. Oh, I lied. I
Oh,
briefly started because before Mass Effect, I was going to play through the Bravely Default series
Uh-huh.
again.
oh.
So I very briefly started up Bravely Default 1. I will get back to that. I like the Bravely Default series. Fight me.
No,
Aqua.
I like no. I like Bravely Default. I just would not play it more than once because I hated
Yeah.
going through that story the first time because it just kept going and it repeated the story like 3 times too
Yeah.
much.
That's fair. That's fair. Still gonna do it though,
If I had
eventually.
to hear the same lines over and over and over again. Uh, uh,
So, like,
Blake,
what did you manage to get up to?
Well, let's see.
while you were sick.
While I was sick, I played. Look at my Steam. I forgot more web fishing. I played a bit of Red Dead just to gallop around.
Yeah.
I because it's on sale. I bought the wrestling, WWE 2K24. So I've been
Oh
making
yeah.
characters of that for fun. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wasn't
It's on
expecting that.
sale. I love wrestling. Yeah. But yeah, that's on sale. And the character creating that's really, really fucking detailed. Really fucking detailed. Yeah. I also bought another
Well, that's
wrestling
good. They
game
used to look like
called Wrestle
homunculi.
Quest, which is like an
I am
RPG that I want
familiar
to
with
play.
this.
I want to play.
Yeah.
I need to play this in a
You definitely do.
soon because I want to. I Let's see
If
what
you're on
else
a
did I.
wrestling binge and you want to feel gross, which no one ever does,
Uh-huh.
Netflix, Mr. McMahon, fuck. I knew he was the devil. I didn't
Oh
like.
no,
He
he's
is just
horrid. He's
he
horrid.
like it's just weird. Like he's like he as a person, not just the facade, is a horrendous person. But then you find out there's even more. There's just more stuff there. It's the worst. And to hear him try, he's so charismatic when he talks, you almost forget he's the devil. And then they'll break away and start reminding you, yeah, no, McMahon is the worst person.
The devil would
Yeah,
be
no,
charismatic, wouldn't he?
he's fucked up. He's fucked over
He
so many
would.
people.
He's the worst. But yeah, just if you're on a wrestling bench, hey, add that to your brain rot. It's worth the watch. You'll feel a little gross. Well worth the watch.
Okay, all right. What else did I play? I played. What does my
No
thing
role
say?
playing. No role playing in the
Oh
past
no, I
couple
did.
weeks.
I for sure did the role play. I for sure did that.
I love whenever
Uh,
I'm sitting down and I see you pop up in the corner on something that
I
I
for
can never
sure did
quite
that.
read.
Yeah,
Uh,
Like,
5M something, whatever. Yeah, it's like,
like
yep, that's it.
I know
Yeah,
what that
5M.
is.
I for
I
sure
know
did
what that
that
is.
because oh god, yes, yesterday's was incredibly heavy in terms of drama because a character that's friends with many people died.
Oh
So that was
no.
super
No,
sad.
not
Super
more
sad
death.
role play. Yeah. No, people are the friend group characters are messy bitches.
Damn.
You love to hear it.
Damn, damn. I think that's it, honestly. I didn't really play anything else. I'm trying to think. Yeah, it was mostly just faffing around with wrestling, galloping on a horse, fishing as a pixel low poly cat, and role playing.
You
And
know,
there was honestly it.
it's fair.
I might be playing Minecraft soon, the modded one.
Oh
So I'm setting
no.
up stuff. It's that
Oh
time
no.
again where you play
Oh
Minecraft for a
no.
week and then leave it for another year.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's understandable. That is understandable.
I've had that multiple times. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play Minecraft, and then a week later, I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of Minecraft. uh, that's all you got up to.
Mhm. Pretty much. And besides being sick.
Oh,
Besides being sick.
No, walk us through every moment of that personal hell. I am happy to hear that you feel it.
um. Well,
Hey guys, don't forget to sub to the channel if you're into what you're hearing. While you're down there, remember to like the video as much as we like you. You'll be good now.
this is a week of not much, so we can talk about some things. We can first talk about how we enjoyed the Monster Hunter Wild beta.
Yeah, we should probably get to that since that was the whole point of the last time we tried this.
Yeah. Beta good. Game good.
Beta, in fact, good. I
Felt good to play.
so something interesting that I enjoyed most of my time with the beta. However, there were there were 2 weapons that didn't feel as good to play to me, and I couldn't put my finger on why. And it was Greatsword and Switch Axe. Um, they did everything they needed to do. I mean, there's some new mechanics, that's fine. The new mechanics weren't what were, um, throwing me off. I just couldn't figure out why it didn't feel good to play these 2 classes. Someone would then go on to, after the beta ended, mention on Twitter that there was a stunning lack of hit stop on attacks,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yeah, that's it. These 2 big meaty weapons weren't giving me the feedback that I wanted." So, that better be fixed by time the main game rolls around. Yeah, because like,
Um,
weapons would those 2 weapons would just go through the enemy, and I didn't I'll be honest, I didn't actually notice what the issue was, even in retrospect on Greatsword. When I saw that, I immediately knew why I hated Switch Axe, though, and it was the fact that everything just went through the monster's body like butter. I didn't even know if I was actually making contact if the numbers weren't coming, and it probably doesn't sound like much, it probably sounds like a weird thing to complain about, but that hit lag is a little important. That feedback is kind of important on certain weapons, and it certainly is gonna make the bigger, beefier weapons feel bigger and beefier.
yeah, I wonder if it is just a beta thing as to why they didn't have. You know, here uh I remember somebody else talking about it. That there's a good chance it might just because of how open the world is.
Close the world, make it smaller, don't give up on weapon
Well, they
feel.
can't do that now.
Weapon feel
They can't do that
I
now.
know. Look, I understand this, but the fact of the matter is that should never have been on the table to begin with. Weapon feel is 60% of this game.
Man, I mean, like, I obviously I can't refute somebody that's played Monster Hunter for however many years, but I don't um
Hmm.
as somebody who has started at World, I don't get anything out of the hit stop. I actually felt like I would play like something like the hammer more because I don't get any hit stop because I feel like I can actually roll out of stuff.
Don't like it. Yeah, I mean, maybe I didn't play much Hammer. Maybe it feels better on that. I just found Switch Axe to be so obviously a step backwards.
Yeah,
Didn't enjoy it at all.
Mm.
But that's like the big
that's
main thing.
surprising.
Yeah,
Like,
it
how could
really
you go?
is.
How could you go wrong with Switch Axe?
I mean, I won't. Okay, I for one didn't have an issue with Switch X, but again,
Uh,
I don't get anything at hit stop, so I didn't even notice hit stop wasn't even there until somebody pointed out that hit
what
stop's not
about
there.
yeah? What about Charge Blade?
No hit
so
stop at all.
Hmm.
that was harder for me to notice because Charge Blade has new mechanics that was so focused on,
Yeah. Okay.
and and when I wasn't focusing on that, I actually wasn't playing a lot of Charge Blade because I'm familiar with that, and I wanted to play the other weapons. Tell you what, not having hit stop on dual blades felt amazing though.
Well, dual blades didn't have hit stop.
I imagine it had a little bit. Like I imagine that no weapon didn't have any, but yeah, like it felt appropriate on dual blades, just cutting through the monster like butter, constant, 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 constant. Uh, like I said, my biggest issue just comes with the bigger weapons. It wasn't something I noticed on Lance. And my bigger hitting moves on gun lance are shelling moves anyway, so I was so distracted by the big beautiful explosion.
It's sure the explosion combo is really good on
God,
gun
the
lance.
new combo for gun lance is
Yeah.
delicious. Though I'll say this, because we did mention you had some issues running the game, or not running the game, the issues because you ran the game. There
Hmm.
were plenty of people with issues running the game. I think by now we're all familiar with the origami incidents that were happening for some of these
Yeah.
monsters.
Yep.
So much so that there's an unofficial mod out for a world that also gets the low poly monsters out, and it's hilarious. Low poly Fatalis is a wild fight.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Uh, but I didn't know about this. I wasn't until the night of the first PC test that I found out about this because I'm pretty lucky. I have a 77. No, I have a
You have
AMD
a
Ryzen 7 in my
7700X.
computer. Yeah,
Yeah.
7700X, and I have a 3070.
Hmm.
No issues whatsoever. Didn't need to update my card, didn't nothing. Just went through fine. I don't know if I actually had a rock solid 60, but if there were dips, I didn't really notice them, with the exception of where we all loaded in the hub.
Yeah.
Then I would
Yep.
tank down to like 20 frames. But then you look outside and you walk away and it gets much better. I was very impressed by that because I was expecting, especially during the shift in weather, I sat there and I watched the Haboob come in and actually hit you. I
Hmm.
didn't recognize a meaningful dip in my numbers. I was expecting that to cause like a couple frames of just horrendous lag and then recover, but it was pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was well, besides the initial like unable to play
While
Yeah.
streaming, that did seem
while
rough. I'm sorry.
streaming, which is unfortunate. It did run fine after. The graphics had to be turned down, so that wasn't too great visually, but it ran fine.
Yeah, I can't play that game on low graphics. It looks so like I don't like it when hair has bad anti-aliasing on it or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and when low graphics, the hair has horrific anti-aliasing on it.
Capcom, listen, I know a lot of people hate the Veilguard aesthetic, steal their hair engine. I don't know what kind of black magic that is. Steal that, and the RE character creator will be insane.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I obviously, so I mean I got to play or whatever, but not on my PC. I did do a few hunts on the PC because like I could get it to run. I just didn't want to do it at that low. And I think I may have also been running into the same issue. Like I couldn't. I don't think I could have like OBS up or whatever doing anything while actually playing the game. But the game does take a more VRAM out of my out of my graphics card than my graphics card really has. So I just realistically couldn't play the game without like overheating some stuff.
Given her all
Uh,
she's got, Captain.
yeah, and but thankfully I have PS5 and and
Crossplay!
and crossplay. You know, because finally Capcom got the sticks out of their ass and actually made a game crossplay. Um, I can I can play on there if I don't get a new graphics card by the time Wilds comes out. So, that being said, I had a lot of fun. I fought every monster multiple times. I played every weapon outside of Hunting Horn and Charge Blade. Um, I had a great time. I watched Dalit get his ass handed to him billions of times.
Yeah.
While laughing at him and me not dying ever. So
Yeah, wait,
What?
hold on now.
I
Um,
I
that
I never
that
carded
aside,
when we played. I never carded when
give
we
it
played. I'm
to
just
be
saying.
fair to him though, the moment I decided, you know what, let's pick up the weep stick. Let's pick up the long sword. I want to look
Yeah.
cool for a second. Ray Dow took that personally. It was bad.
Dan was like
It was not a
5
fight.
minutes. Dan was like 5 minutes.
I was
Ray
like,
Dow
And it
was like,
was.
long sword? You mean lightning rod?
I correct, because
Yes,
that's exactly what
yeah.
happened. He did his big fly up and aim, and I'm like, I'd parry.
Oh.
I did not. I 100 to 0.
Yeah. It was funny. And immediate
And
cuz like
it was about 5 minutes. Dan was absolutely correct.
yeah, Dan was like Dal was like, "How long do you think it'll take me to die? Take me to eat shit?" And dude's like, "Oh, probably about 5 minutes." And yes,
Nah, no, come
yeah,
on. I've played this weapon once or twice. 5 minutes later. All right, so you were right. Fair enough.
yep. Yeah, I think this game's gonna be pretty good when it comes out. Mm, hopefully, the PC version's a lot more optimized than this beta was. I mean, this beta was of a really old build, so I'd assume
That's
it
what I was gonna
was.
say. Yeah, I genuinely, unironically, and non-biasedly believe they need a second PC beta to prove to the player base that it's gonna be in a good state at launch.
I think they will
As
have a demo for people to play.
even well, yeah, even if it's a demo, that's fine, right? So long as I can log on,
Hmm.
play my game, and hopefully grab someone else to play it too. Um, I just need to make sure that that game's going to be good on PC for everyone. Clearly, for me, at least on this older build, I'll be fine. But just because it runs well for me doesn't really mean anything with the full Reddit threads of the origami
Hmm.
monsters and just people overall not being happy with the way it ran on their rigs. And whilst it is easy to say, well, you don't meet the recommended specs, of course it's going to run a bit subpar. It kind of also makes me think, why would you why are we still doing this? Why are you expecting everyone to have like the most expensive stuff in their computer to get a decent experience? If that is going to be the standard for the industry, you're just going to kill your PC communities. There's going to be me who gets lucky and knows someone who can get me a discount on high end products, and people who are given high end products, and no one else. The
Yeah.
biggest, the biggest market, the casual market, is not going to shell out for this.
Well, so okay, so here's the good thing about what this beta told me. All right, you who does not have a card that can do frame generation was getting was pretty much getting a consistent 60. All right. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
whatever they popped up in their like recommended settings or whatever, they were like, oh, at 1080 you'll only get like, you'll only get 60 frames if you have frame gener, which you can only do with the 40 series cards. Um
Okay, here. Go ahead, finish your thought. But I do want to talk about frame generation and why that is misleading.
Anyway, I was just saying that it goes to show me that like they were wrong in their recommendations. And
Yeah.
that people with lower series stuff can actually like run this game probably fine enough. Go
Um,
ahead.
Food for thought about that idea with frame generation. I'm not sure if it's just because of where we are in the uh the life cycle of stuff, but frame generation is not going to save anyone. Like straight up. The reason why stuff ran really well for me is because I think recommended is at a 2060 and I'm the next generation up. I'm at a
No,
3070, I believe,
it's
3060.
2070 is where it's at for recommended.
All right. So yeah, I'm still a full generation ahead of that. So I have the 3070, or at least a 3060 Ti.
Hmm.
Um, I really should know what's in my frame, but I have exactly one generation ahead. I'm fine. I literally just have the extra beef for it is all. Frame generation ends up being weird because it's not like DLSS where if you turn it on, you're guaranteed a better experience, almost to certainty.
Hmm.
Frame generation at low frame rates may get you a bigger number, but your image quality will suffer. You're going to see ghosting and doubling where you shouldn't. Frame gen is really good for frame rates above 60. Like to push from like, I don't know, 110-ish to like 100 and 120, maybe like 100 to 120. That's
Hmm.
probably its best thing because then you go from a a great image to like superior. But going from if you put bad in, you're not gonna get good out. So I don't buy this whole frame gen being able to be what gets you to 60. You might hit the number, but you're gonna hate the experience.
Yeah.
Like in that regard, what you really want is to have like a card that can do DLSS and do DLSS right. I'm so sorry, my AMD brethren. Uh, FSR is a thing. It's just not as good. That's it.
Yep.
That's the whole thing. I just
Hmm.
frame
Yep.
frame gen is a weird thing that a weird new thing that's come out, and I guess they really want to push for, but I don't believe in it yet.
Yeah.
At least not as a answer for low end stuff. It's an answer for high end stuff for sure, but so is everything else.
Mm-hmm. Uh, well, it, we're all excited for Wilds, I assume, right?
Oh, super, super.
Yes.
All right, good,
I
good.
want to
I'm
play with my
ready.
friends. I'll put another 1,000 to 2,000 hours into this series again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I fear I
I'm
must need to upgrade my computer before unless they
yeah,
optimize the shit out of it before release, that'd be nice too.
Which is why I just want to see another PC, specifically PC, because apparently Aquan, you can validate on this. The console is exactly what you would expect from a console
Yeah.
version, right?
yeah.
Yep.
The performance mode runs smooth, 60 pretty much in most areas. Obviously, in the area where you have a bunch of people, it kind of probably dips down a little bit, but um, and in fidelity mode actually kind of runs like at a really stable 30, which I actually thought wasn't horrible to play in. I don't know. I'm not like a snob or
You,
whatever that like sees my frames drop from 60 to 59 and think this game runs like ass. So,
but no, that actually does kind of make sense for you. You started in World, and World was a 30 frames per second game, and when it came
mhm,
to PC initially, it was struggling to get to 60.
yeah.
You had to do a few workarounds if you were going to do that on anything that wasn't like high end. So yeah, it makes sense that like you're just not worried about that.
Yeah, no. Like I played for a good few hours on fidelity mode and I was like, "All right." I was like, "Yeah, this is stable 30." Like I I don't need extra frames to get out of stuff because that's kind of not how this game like really runs like that like fully. So, um I don't know. It felt fine to me. Like performance mode didn't look like I mean, obviously in performance mode it looked a bit muddy because there is temporal AA in the game because
Mhm.
it's just as how games are nowadays. They just have TAA and it looks muddy and like ass. Um, when you look at anything too long, like a texture or something like that. But I mean, uh, um, World, like you said, World on consoles ran at 30 when it first came out. So like, just play it on like the fidelity mode if you like. If I mean, a lot of people played it at 30. So I mean, and that's how Monster Hunter has been. So It's it's
Mhm.
fine. It's fine to me. I thought it was fine. I will have no issues playing this game on console because I could still play with other people. So,
Yeah, Monster Hunter has existed below 60 frames per second for the vast majority of its life cycle. So honestly,
yeah.
I do agree with you. And
Yeah.
frankly, I mean, like I don't always think 60 frames is the end all be all. Hell, I played 7. I played Rebirth in 30 frames per second on performance mode. No,
Oh
on a
yeah.
sorry, fidelity mode for
Yeah.
a long
Th-
time
to
because
be fair, cuz that
the
game looked really
performance
amazing on Fidelity.
yeah, that's pretty much what it came down to. Like I could feel the difference, but it wasn't enough to get over the fact that the game just looked that much better in fidelity.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Like yeah, I definitely agree. 60 frames is not the end all be all.
Mhm. But yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that it's cross-platform and I don't have to like I'm a bit iffy that it's not cross save. All right. That because as we all thought, we thought we were going to be attaching our Capcom ID stuff to something, but it didn't. Doesn't seem like you did that. At least in the beta, you didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't do it in the
So
beta, but I don't like
I just don't
if
think
they
it's going to be
don't
Capcom ID.
I mean, it may not. I feel like that's the easiest way to allay Sony's fears. And I think it's Sony and not Capcom is the reason is the biggest like obstacle in the way of crossplay and not just for Monster
Yeah.
Hunter. just
Yeah.
in general, Sony has been really, really not willing to play ball with that ecosystem. I figured Capcom having the Capcom ID would say, yeah, no, no, no. We'll use your infrastructure. Everyone logs in on their Capcom ID. There's crossplay, and now you know where everyone's coming from. So I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I'm not surprised there's not cross save. Cross save would
Well,
it wouldn't
here's the
negate
reason
having to
why.
buy.
Here's the
But
reason why it's not why Sony's not an issue on this, because it's not using Sony servers. It's using Capcom servers.
sure, but I mean, like
It's
Sony's just
it's
protective
also an
of.
Xbox game. It's also an Xbox game.
Yeah,
So
I'm aware. I just Sony
yeah.
doesn't like doing that for like it doesn't like having its play. It's like Nintendo. Nintendo hates having its players interact with anyone else in the gaming market. Um, this just
Yeah,
feels
but I
this
think
felt like more of a
I think it's just if it's a Sony first party, they don't allow they don't like Sony PC like talking to each
no, the
other like
Sony
that.
first party stuff. I might be the only one in the world here. That one I understand. I understand having to sign into Sony on that. Like
Hmm.
they want everyone on their architecture. But there are other games. So like a bunch of fighting games didn't have crossplay for the longest time, and you'd hear whispers here and there, and they'd all kind of lead back to yeah, Sony just didn't want to play ball. Sony
Mm.
either wanted exclusivity or everyone played separately. Now, again, rumors, idle talk, words are air. I have no
Mm-hmm.
proof, but when enough people say it, it either feels like I'm living in an echo chamber or there's some validity to this.
Yeah, I mean,
Regardless to what the case is, having crossplay, fantastic. We love to see it. Not having cross saves is weird. And I initially kind of logic this out of my head to being, well, if they had cross saves, I guess they feel like they would lose sales, but they wouldn't because they would just mean you'd buy it on multiple platforms and just be able to carry it. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that was just something they didn't get around to and just opted to ignore or what's up with that.
it could just be the logistics behind um cross saving is
Yeah.
like probably a little too hard. Because it's not using Capcom ID, you probably don't upload like your save to like a cloud or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, very likely not.
For them to access or whatever. So, that's probably the reason why. Which like I guess hurts me a little bit because if I don't get a new graphics card by the time this comes out, then I will
We
be
have to
starting
run it
on
back.
PS5, and then I'd have to run it back on PC when I ever did upgrade my graphics card. So that would just be the issue there. But I mean, if it's a fun game, then I'd probably not have too much of an issue. I mean, I played World twice, so or multiple times actually, way more than twice. So yeah. Um, that's Monster Hunter. We do have some extra Monster Hunter stuff because they announced
Yes.
Monster Hunter Outlanders today, which is a open world mobile free to play game, which means it's a gacha game. Um,
I
Gotcha. Oh.
don't
it
know if that's true.
Oh.
it looks like Genshin. I posted the trailer in the chat.
So yeah, I did have a quick sneaky peeky. I do adore that every game in the world now has to have a glider that tickles me to no end.
Yeah,
Um, I just how do you gotcha Monster Hunter? Do
weapons,
you
man.
gotcha for armor
You
sets?
probably
Oh, I
yeah.
guess
You
yeah. You
probably
could
you could gotcha armor sets actually. I think
because
you
like
gotcha gear
you
in general.
because well, if you gotcha gear, you're not playing Monster Hunter. That's that's right out. You're just
Oh
not
yeah,
playing
yeah,
Monster
true,
Hunter at that point.
true, true. You'd have to gotcha one either weapons or armor sets.
And that feels weird. What worried me in the trailer is that I didn't see word twoing word one. I didn't see hunting monsters.
Oh yeah, true.
I
You
also
didn't see that there. Yeah.
I didn't see any building either, which I heard that might be a part of this, which was weird to me. But I'm not against Monster Hunter doing new things. I just I'm not. I'm not sure what this game is, and I'm gonna be honest with you. After watching the trailer, I'm still not sure what this game is, but it's got Monster Hunter monsters in it, so I'm probably going to try.
It seems like, from what I heard, it's like an open world survival game. So I'm not sure. I'm sure that's where the building comes into play, is the survival aspect.
Yeah,
But you're gonna need like a
I'm gonna be
5090
honest. I don't
on your
hate that
phone to play
idea.
it.
I've been when you first brought this up, the first thing I did was run to Twitter. There are rumblings that this will be doing the Hoyo thing, where it also releases a
PC,
PC
yeah.
launcher.
Hopefully,
So
hopefully,
maybe,
because
uh,
this trailer had frame drops.
yeah.
Massive.
I imagine those will probably be a bit better on PC. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what to take away from this. This is made by Tencent, apparently.
Was made
Um,
by Timmy
so sorry, it's
Timmy
made by
Studio
Timmy
Group.
and is backed by Tencent. Apparently,
Yeah.
Timmy also worked on Monster Hunter Online. I don't know how true that is. I will look it up here in a moment. But if they didn't, Tencent certainly did have a hand in Monster Hunter, so they're used to this IP. And the last game they made didn't come over to America, but I remember hearing enough about Monster Hunter Online to want to try it. Never did get a chance to, because it's complicated to get in there as an American. But like, they have a
Yeah,
track
very
record of putting
complicated.
out a competent game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the best game of all time, but I just I would have liked to see this trailer show
Do
something to
something.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, show something to do with the core aspect of this game, because I'm sure the core aspect isn't get from point A to point B. I mean,
For
maybe.
game for games that aren't Monster Hunters, things that Timmy Group has made is Call of Duty Mobile and Pokemon Unite.
That's a
Oh,
solid backing.
actually, yeah, that is actually.
Yeah.
That is
So,
definitely making me feel better about. I'm never gonna feel 100% sold, because at the end of the day, it's a mobile game. Um, but I think Monster Hunter could be done on a mobile game. I mean, especially with the
Oh, will it
architecture
be
we
on
have
PC like
nowadays.
Genshin as
there's
well? Because
rumblings, so they haven't been confirmed.
Rumors have started saying that we can look forward to that, but I see nothing official here
because
on
I
the
will definitely have a go if it's
trailer.
on PC platform. My phone won't be able to handle it.
Oh, I don't even know if
Oh
my
yeah,
phone could.
a lot of phones will not be able to handle this.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
trailer couldn't handle it.
Regardless, it should be noted that I'm being awfully critical of a game that finally went live as a on its advert campaign like an hour.
Yeah.
Like, this game it's going to be a bit before we have to deal with this. I hope it's not a gotcha. I just don't know how you monetize this game otherwise. So I guess it kind of has to be in some way, shape, or form. Like, what's another way to monetize in a mobile game? How does Call of Duty do it?
Outfits.
Is that how Call of Duty does it? Okay.
Well, no, I don't know how Call of Duty does it. No, I actually,
No.
I don't know what Call of Duty's monetization is. But I mean, I hear it's insanely popular. Like, people like playing Call of Duty on mobile. So,
Yeah, I know exactly. You mentioned the two games they've worked on, and they are two very successful games. So,
yeah. As for Monster Hunter, I guess you could sell layered armor sets.
that's genuinely not a bad idea.
Um,
Not having layered armor be honorable is going to get under people's skins, but I mean, if you're gonna put out a mobile game where it's just a platform for monetization, yeah, that's fair. That's completely
I mean,
understandable.
you also just play, the actual Monster Hunter games on console or PC.
And that's
Yeah.
the other reason why, whilst I'm critical, I'm not actually mad at this, because they did the smart thing. They're launching this whilst launching a real Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
So if I don't like this, I get to enjoy my Monster Hunter regardless.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I did sign up for the beta. So
Oh, well,
So
I'm gonna have to go do that. Didn't realize that was gonna be a thing.
Oh,
yep, I signed up for the beta, so I'll see how
no,
that
I
is.
do that too. Um,
Uh,
mm.
Enjoying the video? Remember to like and sub. Helps out the channel a bunch, and we're grateful for everyone we get.
uh, another thing that happened today was
Yeah.
apparently, I guess Shift Up decided to release some information
Oh,
about some things for Stellar Blade.
Ah,
Uh,
oh,
yes. It looks there was a lot to look at.
One, Stellar Blade coming to PC next year, 2025. So that's good. Two, uh, Eve says, "See you in 2025, my dear PC gamers. I can't wait to see how this, how I look with the new mods." Uh, so
Yeah.
Stellar Blade
Yeah,
mod's
that's
gonna go
fair.
hard.
Yeah. Oh god. What are you gonna mod that they haven't already done themselves? You're just gonna take off the last 2 inches of cloth?
Yeah. Actually, that's how they're gonna. That's what they're gonna do.
Like these devs
No,
understood.
they'll also create just new outfits for her.
And you're right. And I think a lot of the mods we probably would see would be akin to the crossover that they're gonna do very shortly, right?
Yeah.
We would just see
Uh.
full model swaps. But we
Mhm.
won't need to for the most obvious choice, because that's gonna be official.
Yeah. So, November 20th, which is really fucking soon, is the Nier Automata and Stellar Blade crossover. Uh, from what I'm gathering, this just entails that there is a shop and a meal shop that shows up in the game, and you will be able to buy outfits and cosmetic stuff um, for Eve to make her look like 2B, A2, and a multitude of
The bot.
other things, and you get the bot. Your bot will look like the 2B bot, or like the Nier
Yeah.
Automata bot.
oh,
Uh, this looks
That's
really
also
good.
what I took away. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the description says. On the YouTube video, it says in this DLC, the character Emil's shop, uh, from the action RPG Nier Automata, and it doesn't say what they're gonna do, but it's the new character. The character is Emil's shop, and it's gonna be voiced by Emil.
mhm.
Yep.
Um, and you'll be able to grab, I guess, outfits, because after they show that, it shows Eve in a multitude of outfits, of Nier Automata outfits, which look really good.
So I did not play Stellar Blade. I only did the beta.
I
The
played. Yeah.
outfits that let you look like the other characters are so good.
Yeah.
Oh man. B, some of like the sections that Eve was taking part in, I guess it was actually 2B and A2,
Mhm.
this one,
Yeah.
looked great. I was
Yeah.
not
Like,
expecting that because I played in a broken down city. I was like, okay, we're gonna do the stock standard God Eater type of thing. No, like a lot of those looked really sick.
yeah. I think the one thing you're referring to is the 2B, like, skate, like grinding down a
Correct.
tube or whatever. I haven't gotten to
That
anything
looks
like
so
that.
sick.
I haven't gotten to anything like that in Solar Blade. I think when this comes out, because I don't I'm unsure uh when you'll be able to access the email shop, because it says purchase and game progression required to unlock, so you'll have to buy the ability to have a meal shop um
Sure.
in your game. And I guess you'll need to get to a certain bit. I don't know if it's just get to the main town, the first main town, to get access to a meal shop or not. And that's as pretty much far as I've gotten. I've went out and like collect and like done a few quests. I haven't completed the game, but I think when this does come out, I actually might just hop in and start playing it, and then run around as fucking like 2B or A2.
He dressed
That'll
up
be great.
really good. Not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I mean,
They're
Eve's
like
outfits just look really good in general.
she is very fashionable.
Yeah.
I thought that this was gonna be actual dresses. I didn't think like they look like they're like straight up model swaps.
They do kind of look like model swaps. Uh, the big thing is, alright, and this is gonna sound very gooner of me, but I swear to God, I think her
I
boobs
don't.
get bigger in like one of those outfits. Like
Okay.
I hadn't thought.
the
I
the
hadn't
Had it.
thought. So on one hand, I did notice what you noticed. On the second
yeah.
hand, I didn't think to compare. So interesting
Well,
point
I mean, I
two.
didn't compare, but like in that last outfit she's in, when she does that last attack in the 2B hair,
Like I said, it
whatever.
was hard. It was hard to miss.
Yeah, I swear that I think that they're bigger, but I mean, I don't. I'm not gonna have to. I'm not gonna go in and like figure it out or anything like that. But I'm just saying.
It would be so. Here's what I'm gonna say. It would be weird if they were, because 2B is not that big a girl. Eve
Yeah,
is
true.
bigger.
Yeah. Um. I don't think they're model swaps because I think when it shows a close up of the face or whatever, I don't see 2B's beauty mark. So
I wasn't looking that hard. Fair enough.
2B has a beauty mark on
She
her face, if I
does.
recall correctly. Yeah.
Yes, this is correct. It's a sensor. She's a robot.
I was gonna say.
But you are
uh,
correct. Like that would be the easiest tell to figure out if it's just a
mhm,
costume or if it's like a full head swap.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I like Soul Blade. Like I said, I only didn't get through it. It's because at the time I was playing too many video games. So yeah.
I enjoyed the demo. I think I forget when this was going to launch, but I certainly
It was in
yeah,
April. Came out in April,
I certainly had
I
other
think.
things that I had to do at the time. I definitely remember that.
It was either April or May that it came out. It was May actually. I'm gonna go ahead and say May.
Okay.
Um,
Would you like to change it one
those
more
are.
time just to be sure?
I mean, I could just look it up. Uh, but it was April 26th. Okay, all right.
There you have it.
There we
you have
go. Factual here. Uh, I mean, that's all I have for like stuff that has like came out today. That I've noticed. And that all was all like within the past couple hours. We did have a few things that we haven't talked about because it's been like 3 weeks. Xenoblade Chronicles X getting a definitive edition.
it. Right. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's
we all
now
knew
the
this was gonna happen.
only Xenoblade game that I haven't played.
Yeah, and you will play it because it's good.
Yes,
But
sir. I
it
guess.
it will also take you fucking forever because that goddamn dude,
So I hear.
the map is so big. Xenoblade
Mhm.
Chronicles X. Anyway, that comes out March 20th, which is really insane. It's coming out for the Switch, obviously, which means this game's probably gonna run like ass. But who knows? Maybe they'll do some good optimization and it'll run a bit better.
Could be.
I've played I've only played like maybe 15 hours of this game on an emulator. Which is probably actually the way to go to play this game. Because it does run pretty phenomenally on an emulator. But it's fun. Evan talks about it all the time. So that's great. Path of Exile 2 got delayed got delayed
Yeah.
3 weeks. So
Oh,
That's
only 3 weeks
kind of
though.
it's very soon. Like I'm surprised that whatever issues they felt were worthy of a delay, they weren't comfortable with being there in early access. So I understanding that early access is essentially a public test period, I'm very curious as to what it was that made you delay
uh
a test period. Like yeah, it had
I
to be
don't
pretty big, and 3 weeks
yeah,
doesn't feel like a
they may have found a game
huge amount
breaking
of
bug.
time. It could, yeah, but it could be as simple as that. Just some weird interactions that one led to another. Now you have to balance and fix a whole bunch of things. That's fair.
But now it'll be out like December 6th or 7th. One of those two. So if you're planning on playing Path of Exile 2, you can look forward to that. I know
Mhm.
Zeke kept talking to me about it. He's like, Path of Exile 2, Path of Exile 2. And I know he was saddened that it got delayed because now he's just filling up his time playing other video games. He's like, I'm just playing this until Path of Exile comes out.
He's in full waiting mode.
Yeah. Um, at the beginning of the month, we got a full on Death Note video game.
Yeah, that's out of the
Yeah.
blue.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Right, right.
Yeah, it's
You want
out
to
of the
explain
Uh,
to me again
it's Among
what the
Us.
concept behind that is?
It's Among Us.
It is okay.
It's like I what? They could have done a Phoenix Wright type of deal,
Nah,
That's
yeah?
what
it,
I was saying.
What?
Thank
it is
you.
it
L
is
is a
Leek
detective.
understands
L
me.
is a detective.
it
What's
is
what's this?
it's a multiplayer social deduction game.
Okay. I mean, I guess because Elle was also trying to work out who Light was
Yeah.
and stuff, I suppose.
So I guess it's what, like a werewolf game? Who's the baddie? Who's
Who
You
killing
got
has
to
the
everyone?
who has the
you have to
death
find
note?
out who you have to
Yeah.
find out who's Kira.
So
Yeah.
man, yeah, I guess, but I guess even even in Among Us, there's only two baddies. So you have a Kira and a Kira. Sorry, you have a Light
Yeah,
and a
Kira,
Lisa
I meant,
Lisa.
sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess I could see that, but it's more like werewolf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or Town
Uh
of Salem.
it's 10
Yeah, yeah,
player
I think
it's
that's a good
I
comparison.
think it's 10 players. And I think it's like I think it's kind of like a 5v5 type thing. I think
Five v five. Okay.
yeah, one side has an L and one side has a Kira. And you have to I
Wait,
think you have to
no, I won't lie. I am more confused now that you've said that.
Okay, so one side one side has an L and the other side has a Kira, and you need to figure out who on each side is the L or the Kira, and whoever figures out who's the L or the Kira first wins. So imagine you're playing
No, 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 I
imagine
understand now.
yeah,
You did make it clear. It's just is yeah, just even when you first explained it, it wasn't quite what I thought. So fair enough.
yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting, I guess. It came out November 5th. I don't know if anybody's actually played it. I assume people have.
Oh, it's already out. Did I genuinely didn't know.
Yeah. Um let's see what the Metacritic score says about it. Oh my god.
Not great.
Oh well, the Metacritic's not loading. So
Oh, there.
user review 5.5. There are no critic review. There are critic reviews, but there is no aggregate score because
No one
there's
was
only
excited to go yell and scream for a review copy.
there's two reviews. The two reviews on PlayStation and two reviews on PC or whatever. The two reviews on PlayStation gave it a 50 and a 55. The two reviews on PC, one gave it an 80, the other one gave it a 60. So, and then the user ratings is 5.5. So, yeah, probably not. I just don't think this was it, Chief. Um, Among Us
No,
came
I still
out how many
agree
years
with
ago?
Leek. I think they had the best idea because it's an idea that I also had. So I'm
Yeah, yeah.
super biased in saying they had the best idea. And making the Death Note games into a dark Phoenix Wright, and actually apparently Phoenix Wright can get up to some real questionable shenanigans, so maybe
Yeah.
not dark, but like making a Phoenix Wright style game just feels correct. You play as uh
L.
Kira.
Kira. Well, that's or
Kira or
is that
L?
the death note or the detective?
You play as the detective trying to find.
Kira.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's just the more logical choice, but I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that has to be how you do it, because I'm sure what they're looking at is how is who's gonna buy something, and I don't think the Ace Attorney games are the best selling games in the world. They certainly have their audience. I would bank on this being a play to get streamers to play this and to turn this into the next Among Us.
Yeah. The so you play as like these little like pawn pieces, All right, because apparently L and Light are having like what looks to be a chess match, but like not like an actual chess match. Uh, like they're playing with those pieces on a table against each other. It's weird. This is what it looks like. And it's just it's
Interesting.
weird.
So it feels like
Oh,
this is a game that
okay.
is not easily captured.
Oh, the
And this is
anime. Yeah.
um and this is like these are what like the pawn pieces look like.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I'm not
it's
surprised. Creepy.
little weird.
Yeah.
Uh,
It
it,
suits the
it
anime though.
has an
that's
88%
true
very
enough.
positive. 80% very positive on Steam. So it's $10
All right. I
Oh
mean,
or
that
yeah.
immediately makes it more palatable,
or 20 if you get the special edition that comes with like
which I
Okay,
would
I
do.
could
customization.
see this. I see how well the angle they've gone through because those two characters do try to. It's very much like was it Moriarty and
And
Sherlock?
Holmes.
John
Yeah,
Yeah.
Holmes, yeah.
yeah, that's their relationship really.
So I mean, it might be fun. Who knows? It's just I don't think this was what people probably wanted out of a Death Note game. So
No, I'll be honest. I does how do I say this without sounding mean? Did anyone really want a Death Note game per se? Like, and if they did, what would they want? Because again,
you know what they could have made out of a Death
what's
Note
up?
game?
Hit me.
They could have made like a Heavy Rain style.
Oh, you just have it just be a
Oh wow.
playable experience.
Yeah.
That's not a
Playable
terrible idea. Like
and
A
and you
Detroit
get
Become
the
Human style
and
thing.
you make certain choices that might
You
change
make
the
important
story.
decisions.
Yeah.
That's I hate that format, but mostly just because I don't like that director. I just
Oh
don't like
yeah. Yeah,
him.
yeah, fuck that director.
Uh,
Yeah.
but Heavy Rain was really good for that, and I hear Detroit was also quite good for that. So
Yeah.
I think that you have perhaps made a good point.
Yeah, I'd have played a Death Note style or like a Heavy Rain style Death Note game. That'd be
Depends how
interesting
much
as
they're
hell.
asking for.
Yeah. I'd have paid 40 for it at most. Cuz I think that would have been interesting.
Maybe.
But because you
Yeah,
got to
it
think
certainly would have been.
you'll be paying for the voice actors. You'll be
No, no,
paying
no. I
for
understand. I understand that it would have had to have been like a sizable thing.
yeah.
I don't know. It's a good idea though. I definitely, I back it. Fair enough.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd play that type of game. Um this game maybe if it went on like a 50% off sale, I'd probably pay $4.99 for this Death Note game. Uh maybe, but yeah. Um not much other stuff. I mean, we all saw Concord dying. Um, so
Are we spoken about this
so
surely, right?
um, maybe it's been 3 weeks, man, since we've had like an actual episode.
We've definitely talked about Concord though. It's been more than 3 weeks.
Has it?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's about all I have.
that's fair
Not
enough. Herman Holst
it's dead.
is
Hmm.
Herman Holst is he's a guy, and I don't like a lot of his decisions already. I don't like how hard he leans into Horizon. Horizon's a fine game. I just don't think it's as I don't think it's as good as Sony wants me to think it is. I definitely could have told them if I'd seen Concord like a year or two before they started to put it out that that was going to be the the laughingstock it came to be.
Oh,
I
I
just
actually,
and these are both games that have come out with him as like a as a leader, not as his current position, but back when he was like heading up game companies. I don't know that I share a vision with
yeah,
Herman Holst yet.
me either. As I scroll up, there are actually a few things. Insider Gaming,
Sure.
they apparently got wind that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is officially in the works. So there's a
Yeah.
sequel for Hogwarts Legacy coming out.
There's no great surprise about this. Like even with all of the drama surrounding it at time of release, that game sold gangbusters, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
most selling game. It was the most selling game in that year.
Of that year?
So
Yeah. That
yeah,
makes perfect sense.
yeah. Um, on November 7th, because it was in 7 day, Mass Effect TV series is officially in development at Amazon. So
How has there not been one, come to think of it? Mass Effect is literally just Star Wars or Star Trek.
I don't know, man.
How did they not think about that and just go nuts? I imagine that TV show is going to be pretty easy to make.
Yeah.
I've just
Uh,
doomed it. I'm so sorry, Mass Effect fans.
uh, we also got wind of what Nintendo's actually suing Power World for, or
Yeah.
Pocket
Okay.
Pair
Nice.
for.
Tell us.
They are suing them over mechanics of fighting
Mm-hmm.
enemies in the wild,
Hmm.
throwing anything at it to capture it. Anything. That is what they've
Oh,
patented.
that's
They patented
bad.
anything.
Oh,
They
that's really
patented
bad.
anything
That's
at it.
bad.
And I think that was mainly it. They're asking. They're asking. This is how much they're asking for. All right.
Yeah.
And I want you to buckle in for this. They're asking to what equivocates to $64,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Other than that, but no, the thing that's
That's not
throwing
what they're
any,
asking.
yeah, yeah, the thing that they're throwing anything at to capture is bad because if they get away with that, they can go after Temtem, they can go after any
Certain
Yep.
other,
beasts.
yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
It
bad.
and therein lies what this fight really is about. It's
Yeah.
about precedent.
Yep.
Um, because most of the Pokemon likes are not an actual competition for Pokemon. They'll never get the numbers needed to actually pose any threat to the big N. Pocket Pair has found a way to do it. What's interesting to me is the more I read about this, apparently the JP crowd is siding with Nintendo, which I hadn't expected to hear.
Sheeps. Sheeps.
Um,
They're all sheeps.
Nintendo is obviously morally in the wrong for this. They are clearly abusing their power and choosing to do
Mm,
so now only because Power World has done exceptionally well and is in a position to further themselves. Um, that said, I don't know how this patent was granted. Legally speaking, Nintendo's in the right, and I don't like saying that because in most positions when I say that, I'm backing the company I'm talking about. Not in this case. This patent
no.
feels wrong. I don't know what's up with Japan or just what's up with gaming patents that allows them to get away with this idea. I can
Yeah.
kind of see Bandai Namco back in 2000 and like 2003, 2004, I think,
Yeah.
patenting the ability to play games during a
Loading
loading screen.
screen.
I can kind of understand that. I think that's scummy too, but I can kind of get it. The idea of patenting a mechanic in a game that is so
Broad.
general
Yeah.
feels feels like any any court should have looked at that and laughed Nintendo out of the room.
Yeah. Um. So so Thor has a really good video up called Power World Lawsuit -2. He has himself and his head moderator on talking about it. Who's his head moderator is
who
like
is
is a
a
lawyer.
lawyer,
Yeah, who's a
copyright lawyer, no
lawyer.
less, I believe.
Yeah. Um, and they go over a lot of the stuff, and what it seems like is that somebody at the patent office might have just nonchalantly allowed Nintendo to have this patent without actually doing due research
Oh, that's
into
bad.
previous arts.
Yeah.
Um, because there's a couple of rules set for when patenting stuff like these game mechanics. One of them is, are there any previous arts that have this type of mechanic? And so while they did technically put in that the application for that patent before Power World came out, Craftopia, another Pocket Pair game, has the exact same mechanic. And that
Here's
came
the
out way before.
here's the issue.
Mhm.
Again, this is happening in Japan, and the Japanese are very against Pocket Pair because Pocket Pair does not make original games. All of their
Right.
games are derivative to the point of infringement.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is a really petty move and that they did do a little bit of research and like they just don't think that Pocket Pair is worth protecting. Um
Until Pocket Pair
because
got a
yeah,
lot of money.
that's the other big talking point, right? Is that Pocket Pair not only is super successful, but it's also being backed by Sony now, which happened just after this went down.
Mhm.
And that might be the big reason why Nintendo's getting involved because
Mm.
Sony backing Palworld, backing Pocket Pair allows their reach to go much further. It
Mhm.
legitimizes them as a company in a way that them being a cute indie just can't do. But what I mean about this is what I mean is horrendous. And if I was in Japan, I would probably be in trouble for saying this. I genuinely believe that the legal side of this also agrees with the Japanese fans and also just doesn't feel the need to take Craftopia seriously because Craftopia was seen as a ripoff of
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild and
I
Pokemon and
know,
another Nintendo product.
but Craftopia might be the door into fighting this legally.
Legally speaking, yes, I think that's a pretty solid place to stand. However, because of my lack of understanding of the JP side of things, I don't know if there's even
What
a hope once Nintendo gets a
it's
hold of you.
Well, it seems like or at least from what Thor read out of uh the Japanese site for applying for patents or whatever, is that um they do take previous arts into account. Not only that, one of the other stipulations was, if the novelty of your mechanic is already
Right.
it has
Yeah.
already hit it has already hit its reach and is already known throughout the world, that it should not be allowed to go through. Which, by the way, Nintendo and Pokemon have been doing this for how many years, and
So
are the
here's
biggest company in the world right
small
now.
problem with that. Small problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is super technical and it's really being pedantic, but I think when you're speaking legally, you have to be pedantic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Technically, the mechanic that they are covering has only been used in Arceus.
I guess.
So,
Yeah.
in that
True.
way, in that particular argument, that's not true. And in
Mm.
terms of preceding artwork, I don't know if Craftopia is where anyone's going to go, or if they are going to go to an even earlier Pokemon game. So
Well,
I don't know
well,
if
I'm just saying, because
biases will come into it.
Craftopia came out before Arceus too, I think.
Maybe
Um,
I don't. I couldn't tell you. Um,
So patents and stuff. they don't always get covered in like every country. Is it just for Japan?
This would have to just
Yeah.
well,
This lawsuit is just in Japan.
actually,
And this is
I guess it would
directly going to
have
be
to be.
targeting Pocket Pair because they're Japanese as well.
They're a Japanese
Yeah.
company, yeah.
Yeah, so
And
it
and because
does
of their
go
backing
through.
of Sony,
It does
Sony is also
stifle.
Japanese.
Yeah, it does stifle Japanese devs. So devs in other countries hopefully won't be affected by it.
The reason why this messes with me so much is because I believe I I go to Bandai Namco for this, and there's a reason I go to Bandai Namco and not Warner Media.
Mhm.
Everyone loves to go to Nemesis system. But the reason why I like going further back to Bandai Namco is just because you have so much time in between now and then. No one put video games in their loading screen. No one from the West, no one from the East. I'm not sure that these patents are locked to Japan.
Yeah, that's worrying if it does go
It
through.
might it might be we might be more centralized nowadays. Or it might just be one of those case of if one place honors this and it becomes a big enough deal, internationally it will be honored. So
Yeah.
it
Oh, yeah,
might as well be international.
typically the U.S. will, if there is a patent law that is accepted in
We will honor
Japan,
it, right?
yeah, we capitulate to it. Yeah.
Okay.
So really it becomes a non-factor in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my concern is that if Pocket Pair does fight it and they lose, it says precedence
Mhm.
and opens a huge can of worms for every other fucking game that does this. Throwing a device to catch a monster or whatever,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Well,
Uh.
the downside is I think it's a lose-lose. Sorry. It's a 60-30, or I guess whatever. Make those numbers work. A 66-33 loss, because if they take the buyout and move away, Nintendo gets to pull this with the next person, and now this patent exists in the world, and
Mm,
going forward, everyone
yeah.
has to bend the knee.
Mhm.
If they fight it and lose, same thing. It's now precedent. The
Mm,
only way this is good is if they fight it and win, and frankly speaking, that is a horrendous idea.
yeah, they don't have
Business
enough.
wise,
Simply
yeah,
don't
that's a
have enough
horrendous
money.
idea. Yeah.
The
Well, no,
only
I
other
think Pocket Pair has enough money. I
You
think they
think
have
so
enough money to
now?
Pocket
fight. Yeah. Yeah.
Pocket Pair as a company, and now especially backed by Sony, who wants to turn Pal World into the
Yeah,
next
backed by Sony.
Pokemon.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
They probably could fight this for a little bit. I
yeah.
don't know how far they would get before Sony just deemed it not worthy and backed out and left Pocket Pair to rot. Um, but Pocket Pair on their own could fight for a little while. I don't think it would be worth the money they'd have to put into it, but they could.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I mean. Like, this is a bad place to be. Nintendo, like, forget all the legality for a second. Nintendo is a very, very big bully, and the reason they get to continue being this way is because they have the mass to back it up. You're not beating
Mhm.
them in a fight, traditionally speaking. So unless there's
Yeah.
information that we don't know, and therefore probably Nintendo doesn't know, they've pulled this because they can get away with it. The pathway to victory is so slim,
Yeah, because they have a
and
100% win
seemingly,
rate.
yeah, but furthermore, seemingly in this case, the law is either on their side or doesn't care, which is it's not that's not a net neutral move. If
Mhm.
they don't care, that's a move back towards Nintendo again, because they will just go back to whatever they've ruled previously. This patent being granted means they will rule for Nintendo. So there are ways to victory. It feels so slim and so not worth Pal World, not worth Pocket Pair doing. However, it might be worth Sony doing,
Yeah.
and that might
The
end up being the godsend that gets them what they need to win this, if they choose
from
to fight it at all.
Yeah, from what Thor and Kronos had said is that Pocket Pair would have to fight this on two fronts because the way to win is to fight the fact that the patent was able to be
Yes,
granted in the first
you fight
place.
the legality of the patent, not the patent
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. And
If they
that's
can
like
win that,
that's
suddenly
that's
the door opens up much wider.
yeah, because if they win that, and then they just win in general, because then Nintendo would not have a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
So, but that would take a lot of money, and that is only. They also stated that there's a chance that maybe Sony doesn't back them in this whatsoever. So,
Which would be
I
Yeah.
interesting because I think Sony could, and Sony stands to gain
a
a
lot.
lot from this partnership if
Yeah.
Pocket Pair can continue to make this IP relevant. Like, if
Hmm.
this gets it, this never needs to get as big as Pokemon. Pokemon Company is the biggest IP in the world, bigger than
Hmm.
Disney. Maybe not bigger. Actually, maybe not bigger than Disney. Bigger than any individual Disney IP. Um, if it's half as successful as that, Sony stands to gain
Hmm.
infinite money.
Sony
So,
also stands to gain. It should just sock and one to Nintendo, honestly.
I mean, look, any loss Nintendo makes and starts to bring them back down to earth is probably a good thing. Like, I certainly am not one who wants Nintendo to just up and disappear one day.
Oh yeah, no, but
But they are.
I'd
I
like
don't know
them
how
to.
that
I'd like
company
them to get off their
works.
fucking high hill, their high
Yeah, I don't
horse.
know. I don't know. I don't know why Nintendo operates the way they do for any reason that isn't just this is the way we've always operated.
Yeah.
They don't seem they don't actually seem investor driven. They're certainly not consumer driven.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know. I
True.
don't know why they make a lot of the decisions they make, with the exception of relying on certain tentpole series to continue on because that's just good business.
Hmm.
Other than that, a lot of the decisions that Nintendo makes just feels weird. Not even wrong, just weird.
Yep. Anyway, Pocket
Same
Pair
like
said
that
that
with the
they'll up.
fucking consoles.
Yeah. Pocket Pair
Fair.
said that they'll update us whenever they can. Obviously, they can't really talk about anything because it is an
No,
ongoing
talking about it
legal.
Mm.
now would be talking about it
Um,
now would be a mistake. It'd be
so,
fun, but it'd be a mistake.
but it does seem like Pocket Pair, like, they seem like they're going to fight it. So, um, which I mean, more power to
Hey,
them.
I think it's a
I
bad
hope they
idea,
win.
but goddamn, I'm gonna enjoy watching.
If they win, if they, oh god, if they win, it man, it ticks that that win percentage from 100% down to like 90. So that'd
I
be
think
great.
it's a bit. I think it's a bit higher than 90, but yeah, I see your meaning.
Yeah, yeah. Two more quick ones. Uh, Apparently, Marvel Rivals developer NetEase has been arrested for
Oh yeah.
uh has been arrested for allegedly laundering up to 139 million
Yeah.
dollars.
What the
Not
fuck, guys?
not surprising.
Like,
We're just waiting for the 10-cent lawsuit.
Jesus. Hey, look, man, Monster Hunter. That's a 10-cent back game. I mean, we might find out. Give it
Yeah,
half a year.
yeah. And Overwatch Classic.
God, that's so fucking stupid.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yep.
Because gut instinct is to say that because you're right. So this is an event.
I
This
know.
is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Okay,
I
I just
know
want to
yeah,
be sure.
it's still stupid
I
because
yeah,
was talking to people
the
and they didn't
whole
know that.
Overwatch 2 thing.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like no, and that you're just correct. Like this feels like capitulation to it was better when it was Overwatch.
yeah.
Sorry, you yeah, feel free to go on. A lot of people just didn't seem to realize like they just saw the update and like got viscerally angry, which
Yeah.
fair.
I can
Honestly,
understand because
completely
like,
fair.
they did it with WoW, right? WoW Classic.
Hmm.
Correct.
Yeah,
But yeah, this is a limited time event going back to the glory days of Overwatch, aka you all are not ready for this.
yeah. Well, I mean,
I
well,
saw I saw
WoW Classic.
6v6 of the same character.
Oh god.
Fuck. Opening week Overwatch was hell's it was fun as hell, but that was hell. Oh my god,
Yeah.
six Torbjorns just raffle stomping these poor guys who had never played FPSs before. They
Hmm.
didn't know.
Um. WoW Classics is its own thing. You can actually just go play WoW Classic.
Yes.
So that they made it. I mean, you have to have a subscription to retail WoW to play it, but I mean, you still have to play it. You still can just go play it. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
just an
just think a lot
event.
of
It
people thought it
lasts.
was that.
Yeah, it's just an event. Lasts up to what, the end of the year.
Something like that?
6v6, revisit the iconic maps. You get to enjoy the original roster.
It's not impossible to think of this also as
Test.
a test run for 6v6 coming back. I certainly, if they do a version of this where you're not allowed to pick six of any one character, this might genuinely be a way to show the player base what they've been asking.
We had
Because that's
6v6
been the big
back in original fucking Overwatch.
true
We know.
true. I
We
like
already
not
know. We already know what 6v6 feels like. Call it.
I won't lie. I won't lie. I imagine a lot of people actually came in during Overwatch too. I imagine
Oh
a lot of
yeah.
people also just left. So like this is a chance. Also, it's been long enough since we had 6v6 that I think there's some merit to reminding us what this is going to be. Like we're going to have to run back into double shield. That's going to
Yeah.
be like Overwatch 1 at the end of its life was not fun to play because it was two shield tanks walking at you, trading off shields with all the DPS in the world, firing down, making no headway, and two healers there to keep their tanks alive so they could go back to shield. It wasn't a great state. 5v5 was a solid. It is easily the least the least wrong part of Overwatch 2,
Well,
which
no.
isn't saying much because
The
all of
number.
Overwatch 2 is stupid.
Well, here's the thing. The number didn't matter in the first place. It's what they did, role restrictions on the 5v5. That's why you can't do that. It's not 5v5 just because it's you don't get two tanks because it's
Role
5v5. They did.
restrictions happened way before this.
Yeah.
Like the
They didn't.
like
When did
the
role
fact
restrictions come in?
role restrictions happened. Well, okay, no, role restrictions didn't happen very early. Character restriction happened early. Um, because I was thinking of like again the six
Yeah,
Torbos,
because
six
role
bastions,
restrictions didn't really come in until way later on.
but it was still
And
well before the end of Overwatch 1, though.
well, but I mean, that's just going to be beginning Overwatch 1. If they just did 6v6 with the role restrictions, then you wouldn't have the two tanks. You wouldn't
Sorry,
have
you
two
said six
tanks
v
meta.
six without the role without the role
No,
restriction.
with the role restrictions,
No, if they bring
you
six
wouldn't.
v six back, it'll be two tanks, two DPS, two healers,
No, you
unless
just role
they want to
restricted
change
to
it.
one tank.
Which would be different if they choose to go one tank, three DPS, two healers, or one tank, four DPS, one healer. However they want to balance that shit show, then things
Hmm.
get different. Well, what I am saying is, if we go back to two
Oh yeah,
tanks, people are gonna find out 6v6 is a fucking nightmare.
yeah. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Though they've also changed characters. Like Orisa is no longer a true shield tank. Reinhardt is who's
Oh.
another? I guess Sigma. You could still do it. Oh god, it would make Sigma and Reinhardt the go-tos.
Well, there you go, Dollar. You have something to play.
No, absolutely not. I finally washed myself of Overwatch a while ago. And again, to be clear, because I actually genuinely don't have much a problem defending Overwatch as a game. Overwatch as a game, wonderful game, love playing it. I just I hate everything surrounding Overwatch. I hate that it
Yeah,
became a
unfortunately, that's
platform.
what put me off.
Yeah, I hate that it became a platform for monetization. I hate
Yeah,
I hate that everything that Nintendo, god damn it,
Blizzard.
Nintendo built right now, that Blizzard does seems to be the worst version, go straight into Overwatch. I don't like it. I don't like the storefront idea. It's just it's not it's not something I want to deal with. But at the end of the day, I will say what I've been saying since Overwatch 2 came out and I suddenly started having to defend it a little bit. Overwatch 2, super great hero shooter. Best hero shooter in the market, purely from a game step and only. Like, I don't know, like I know the balance team has issues every now and again and things get passed, but that's happens in all competitive games. Can't be
Yeah,
helped.
that happens in all of them.
It literally can't be helped.
And no one's happy regardless how what they do.
Exactly. I hate this game. You have 5,000 hours on this game, and it's the worst. Okay.
Like, this is a sentiment. I got another friend who was just playing it the other day, and she was miserable, but she was still playing
But you're still playing it,
it.
right? I know streamers that do that. Like, honestly, the one thing that might actually stand to kill Overwatch and finally force Blizzard to start making a series of good decisions has nothing to do with the community, but it does have something to do with the player base.
Yeah.
Steam might kill Blizzard. Or maybe not Blizzard, but at least Deadlock might kill Overwatch.
I need to get into it more. It was fun.
Oh!
I'm not so great at the style of play. Well, the League and Dota 2 style.
Yeah,
But I did enjoy it more because I guess it's because it had the first person shooter stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
Between the two games, I would rather play Overwatch, but that's just because I have an intense hatred of MOBAs.
Mm. It does
But
have the similar problems to Dota and League though.
oh yeah, itemization is going to be the hard thing to
Yeah.
balance, not the champions themselves. Though the
Yeah.
champions themselves also, create RNG in that. Um, I do enjoy watching Deadlock quite a lot, though.
Visually it's
Whenever
great.
and it's they've done a bunch of updates. The map looks better than it did when we were playing.
Ooh.
Mildly, you have to look for it, but once you see it, you're like, oh wow, that building is actually a building now. It's a
I'm
skyscraper. It's
looking
not
forward
just.
to Valve doing their classic, animated shorts and shit like they did with Team Fortress
I
2.
can't imagine they won't. Like
They
these
better. Those
characters
characters look fucking amazing.
they've done comics and such apparently, but I know
Yeah.
I am looking forward to meet and Furnace, meet Wraith,
I
meet
hope they do it. They
Abrams.
better.
Yeah.
It's one of their best parts.
Um, but yeah, I've been like whenever I'm not like actively mixing something, I throw on a cheeky seagull stream, or I guess VOD, and watch him
Mm.
run the McGinnis. Like, yeah, I think the game's gonna be fun. It's like League. I will never play League, but I will occasionally watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Deadlock has a real chance of, um, I say killing. Obviously, there's probably not an actual Overwatch killer at this point. I think if Overwatch was gonna die, Blizzard would have killed it a long time ago. But
Hmm.
Deadlock has a chance, and I think I said this when we were playing, of being the future of like hero shooters. And I think hero
Mm.
shooters are going to turn into MOBAs because it's something that people were saying in Overwatch, even when I was still playing, was I don't know what you do next. Like, what would Overwatch 2 actually be? Overwatch with items.
Yeah.
So there's a real chance that because Deadlock got there first, it's gonna rip away a lot of Overwatch's play base. I mean, obviously, they're both FPSs. The only real difference is, one map versus several, which is
Yeah.
probably excellent for, like, high tier players. Now they don't need to memorize a bunch of different, routes on a bunch of different maps. Now they just need to become really intimate with one. And itemization. I think this is gonna probably be great. I hate that there's only one map. I don't know why people can play League and games like Deadlocked forever. I couldn't play the same map for years at a time and be happy. Map the differences in map make all the difference to me. But,
Mm.
um, knowing the success that MOBAs have had, knowing the success that hero shooters have had to the point that people are literally tanking their companies trying to make them. Yeah, I think Deadlock's gonna do well, and I think it's gonna do well at the cost of Watch 2, and Blizzard will have no one to blame but themselves.
Yep.
That's it. Sorry. Didn't mean to go on tirade. Thank you for coming to my TEDx talk.
Ted. Yeah, I think that's all we have. And I mean, we're at 2 hours, so might as well wrap up. Rapidy up.
I missed you guys.
Yeah. Hooray for
I
being more
didn't. I didn't.
healthy.
I. I didn't. I didn't. I.
Hey.
I didn't miss you, Dollet. I didn't miss you,
Oh.
Dollet.
That's fair. That's fair.
I
No,
saw.
that's
I saw.
completely
I saw
fine.
you last night.
You saw me yesterday.
So, what I will be doing this next week, all right,
Mm-hmm.
is probably playing more Mass Effect.
Makes sense.
So, I'll be doing that. Maybe I'll. I do have Metaphor, and I've gotten through the first big section of Metaphor, like
Can't
the
recognize
beginning
enough.
section. Yeah. I'm burnt out on RPGs for the at the moment, and I don't really like full on feel like playing an RPG. And that's why I grabbed
Understandable.
Dollet to play mindless shooting game. Because
It is
I
me.
can do
I
that.
am the one who is RPG brain pilled right now.
Yeah.
It is me.
What I
It was me.
what I know I will be doing is what I've been doing every Sunday. All
Yeah.
right, is I
Trying
have
to take
church
over
with
the world?
no, I have
Snarf.
church with Evan. All right.
Okay. You did it again. For the briefest moment. Goodness gracious.
I have church with Evan, and we watch about 15 episodes of One Piece every Sunday. So
So how are you pacing yourself?
yeah, that's how I'm pacing myself for One Piece. Like I can get through about 15
Imagine
episodes a week.
considering it pacing yourself to do 15 episodes is the majority of a season.
It's thousands.
You're not wrong. Like
Yeah.
I got no argument there.
If I want to get through it in a timely manner, I have to have one night to binge it. All right. So we're at we're going to episode 87, I think, at the moment. Out of, over 1100. So
It sounds really impressive to say, yeah, there's about 1,000 left to go.
yeah, so it's getting
Still
pretty
coming
good.
out.
It's getting pretty good. I haven't hit the first like big arc. Well, I'm at the start of Alabasta. So apparently that's like the big first arc.
Alabasta's really good. Alabasta has Vivi.
Well, yeah, I've already met Vivi and everything. Like I'm on the I'm like 4 episodes away from finishing the Chopper section. So we already have Chopper. Chopper's already in the story and everything like that. So.
Which island was that? The one with Wapple. Whatever. I know
Yeah,
where
that's
you are.
Drum Island.
Drum Island. Thank you.
Yeah. So I have 4 episodes. I think we have 4 episodes before you finish up Drum Island, and then right after that, it's going to Alabasta. So. Yeah, I've met Vivi. I actually think she's one of the cooler characters. I really like her. I
who
sitting
don't
here.
own who don't A, don't own any figures, and B, have not watched One Piece to the end, was very tempted to have bought a Vivi figure once. It was so nice. I really
Yeah.
she's
I do. I do really like Vivi. So. And I told Evan, I was like, why doesn't Vivi join the fucking crew? I'd like to, I need her to join the
watching.
crew. I know. So I mean, I already know who all joins the crew and everything like that. I've seen.
Oh, I just meant for the reason why she doesn't. But yeah. I also have had this feeling before.
I think I've seen a picture of her like in the future. Or whatever. I don't know if it's. I'm guessing it's post time skip.
Yeah.
It is. It's post time skip. You're right. It's pretty obvious when the time skip happens.
Yeah. So yeah. We're going through that. So I'll get into Alabasta proper this week. Yeah. Mass Effect, One Piece. With the first Descendant, I know that because I have to at least log in and like do something. Well, I at least have to log in and keep making my Thunder Cages so I can do that, and then hopefully,
Having
like
that not stop.
maybe I can convince somebody that to get off other video games or to just join me while to help me
Sorry,
farm for
I'm
some stuff.
RPG filled right now. I haven't been this into RPGs for a very long time. Usually, it's a struggle just to finish one. And don't get me wrong, it still is. RPGs all overstay their welcome.
Yeah,
But I'm just in the mood for like the first 90% of RPG.
yeah. Um, yeah. I've got nothing else. I've I fly by the seat of my pants when it comes to video games. So, but that is a really good Vivi
Yes,
figure.
it is. And it's from before the time skip. I like the pre-time skip stuff.
Damn, she got gun. She got guns on
Yeah.
guns.
Hmm. Anyhow, as was said, I will be doing RPG stuff as well. I'm going to be going through Mass Effect 2 and then
Yeah,
Mass Effect 3, unless I hard fail out of this IP again, in which case I'm gonna play a different RPG. Don't know which one
yeah.
yet. I'll let you
yeah,
know next time.
I don't think you're gonna pop out of two. I think
I
two
probably wouldn't have
will
popped out of one, but you've pretty
I
much sold me on not finishing one and just doing
yeah. I
the
think
beginning
two
of two
will
section.
yeah, I think if you would have went to try to finish one, you'd have gotten burnt out on playing Mass Effect. I think it
Hmm.
would have just burned you.
That's what
I
happened
think
last time. I cannot fault you for this assumption.
yeah. I think two will keep your attention throughout most of the game. I don't remember if there's any low points, or like any like big low points of Mass Effect 2. And then when you get
We'll
into
see.
Mass Effect 3 is just like, high level
It's
until
peak
until
for
the ending.
99%.
Yeah, it's peak for 99%, yeah. So yeah. So
What
your
about
Mass
you,
Effect,
League? What's your plans?
yeah, what are
Hmm.
you up to, eh?
Probably more GTA. Probably more. Actually, I already mentioned the Minecraft, so that too.
You
And
did, yeah.
I forgot something I started today, which was the Pokemon trading card game on
I'm
The
mobile.
sorry.
mobile one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you open pack, get the card, brain go burr. Okay,
No,
and
I can't
it
fault
does
you.
have
I can't
battle.
fault you.
It has battle as well, and it's
I
kind of
heard that they did a smart thing and they simplified the battle because for whatever reason, apparently Pokemon is a surprisingly intricate card game.
oh yeah, yeah. You need
Yeah,
resources
yeah.
as well as
It is
you need
it is
so much
actually
stuff.
it's actually as almost I it would almost be as intricate as Magic if you had tapping in
Yeah,
Pokemon.
yeah.
You don't have tapping
Interesting. I've
in
only ever
in
collected
Pokemon.
the cards. I never once actually played the card game. So
Yeah.
that's a surprise. I didn't expect it to
There's a
be
lot of stuff in Pokemon.
intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it is going to introduce trading, so you can add your friend and
Oh,
trade with them and
nice.
stuff.
That might be
They
worth
have
picking up after all.
yeah, there's lots of you can like deck out and make decks and stuff like that. You can make your UI and stuff look pretty, collecting certain thingies. The in-game currency is very generous, so you don't really need to spend any money at all, which is great for me because I
Hey.
won't.
Oh.
I won't.
Well, when
As
you
we have
do, you don't
learned.
stop.
It's so generous. Actually, it's very easy for me to just constantly open packs.
I assume, yeah, I assume it probably feels very similar to how you were dealing with, what was it, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? What was it called? Or
Yu-Gi-Oh! No.
no,
Master Duels.
Master Duels. Yeah,
Master
it's
Duels.
more
I was
generous
thinking
than
of
that.
the
I think.
actual. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
People
it's
seem to
very
be pretty
generous.
high on that.
It's
So,
good. What else? There's really, really nice animations that happen with some of the special shiny cards. You literally go into the artwork, and it's like
oh, that's
this like
actually really cool.
flyover thing. It's great. Yeah, I'm impressed. I will probably spam it for like a week and then forget about it.
Yep.
'Cause that's
Understandable.
what I usually do.
Understandable.
That's what I usually
I know
do.
that feeling.
That's me. Yeah. So that's what's occupying my in between doing anything time. What else? Yeah, Minecraft, I think, GTA, and then wherever I get. Actually, I was thinking about Marauders again.
Oh,
That's a looter and extract
Hmm.
game in space.
yeah.
In space.
I
Splash.
played it ages ago, and they have loads of
Mhm.
updates since. So I just thought about it recently. Went, oh, I'm curious. I might have a go. So we'll see. Yep, that's me. Haha.
Exciting.
Hey. Well, that's all for us this week. Dalit, take it away.
What? Oh, I forget I do these now. It's been a while. Hey, thanks for
Yep.
joining us today. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can find us here at twitch.tv/sleekwibbles on Thursday evenings. Or if you want us on demand, catch us on YouTube at Perpetual Backlog Podcast.
Yep.
I'm sure of that. Wherever you choose to listen to us, remember to show us some love, a follow, a like, a comment. That said, I've been Dalit. They've been Lake and Aqua. You've been amazing, and we'll see you in the next one. Be good now.
Goodbye.
Before you go, remember to like, comment, and sub to us. Not only does it help out the channel and let us know what you're into, but it also makes you 100% cooler than everybody else. I checked with Aqua. It's definitely true.